On January 20th, the Dakota Access Pipeline was approved for construction, but the protests did not begin until a few months later. And on April 1st, the Sacred Stone Camp was erected in an attempt to protect the water. So why do the Native Americans feel such a strong need to protect their land and water? Well, the pipeline is to run through several states, and has to travel across hundreds of waterways. At least 22 of these crossings have to be drilled deep underneath large bodies of water, one of which is Lake Oahe, the tribe's primary source of clean drinking water. Also, the pipeline has to cross the Missouri River. Many people are worried about this because if the pipeline were to leak, the consequences would be a massive humanitarian and environmental crisis. On August 10th, the first arrests of protesters were made, and on August 31st, only a few weeks later, non-violent protests actually stopped construction on the pipeline for over 6 hours. Protesters, when arrested, began to be charged with felonies. As the protests continued, the state pushed harder and harder to stop them. At one of the prayer protests, the state showed up with armored vehicles and assault rifles, further adding to the tension. On October 28th, police made 117 arrests, clearing a camp in the path of the pipeline, and only 5 days later, peaceful protesters were sprayed with mace and harassed away from one of their sacred burial sites that was occupied by police and security. And on November 14th, completion of the Dakota Access Pipeline was delayed as the Army called for more analysis. But with Trump being the winner of the 2016 presidential election, it seemed unlikely that he would side with the protesters. And as we found out not too long ago, this came to be true as Trump presented an executive order to finish the construction of the pipeline.
This is with respect to the construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline.
Around this time, things began to die down as the weather and cold temperatures made it hard for people to protest. As we come into the current day, and as the shackles of winter are slowly releasing its grasp, the protests are sure to continue.